going through the survey, I kind of went through a couple questions, but more of showing you the example of some of the type of questions you can have in a survey. And then even if you wanted them to type in the information like, what is one thing you would have done to improve your experience? So this is just to give you an example of what it can look like, and then on a scale of 1 to 10, those type of things. And again, this can be customized based on what your logo, based on your website and those type of things. And any questions about that?
That is something that comes with a package, or that's separate to add to a package?
No, that is separate. You can add to it. So kind of like Pat said, as far as in contact, we provide you everything you need within the contact center. Mm-hmm. So even if you went on our platform and use that side later, it's not like you got to go do a whole new meaning other than getting set up for the survey and paying for that portion. We just kind of flip it on and you're good to go. And then work with implementation to get you implemented.
And you pay for it per survey or per month just to use that service?
Pat, you want to cover that? Yeah.
Sure. There's actually 2 different ways to do it. You can do it if you're planning to survey everybody that calls in or texts you or emails you, then you may want to do it on a per agent basis where they can basically have unlimited surveys. If you're going to do more of a sampling, like 2, 3, 5, 10 a month, it's best just to do it by the survey.
Okay.
So we offer both models, and we'll just kind of work with you to determine what kind of volume do you expect to send out, and then do it based on what's best for you.
Okay.
All right.
Oh, and then last question on the survey, I apologize. Is that put in analytics, or how do you get the answers from that survey?
Yes, so the survey responses are formatted and sent to the people that you set up in the system with the information and the analytics around those. So if you as the supervisor of the group want to see all those answers, then that's how we'll designate it, and you'll be sent all those answers.
And it's attached to the person that they spoke with that they're answering about?
Correct.
And
correct.
Also, is it anonymous?
It can be anonymous, so it depends how you set it up.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
All right.
Yeah.
Awesome. Good question. Any other questions about that? Okay. So one of the things I wanted to show you is just a couple of things about the reporting. We have what we call CAN reports that are created and already listed within the application that we make available. And then you can customize reports. So you're able to take templates that we already have built, or you can build your own. But here's one example, one CAN report. I just want to show you one of them, which is called the contact history. This report is available as soon as the contact is over, where you're able to come in and see the whole interaction of the call just by clicking on it. It brings in the contact detail of the call. It says who disconnected the call, agent phone disconnected. I use a disposition. I made a comment. It shows me the duration. Down at the bottom, it shows the whole contact life, when it came in, pre-queue, in-queue routing, that time period. So if the agent is saying I was on hold for a long time, that information, you are able to see what happened within that call. Recording, if I'm the supervisor wanting to listen to this, I can come in and put in a phone number and hit listen and use these prompts to be able to pause it, rewind, fast forward, those type of things. Download the file. That can be present or not present. It all depends on the permissions that's given. So if you don't want the users to be able to download the file, you can take that away. And then the contact press path. And this is saying, this is how it came through the IVR. When it began going through the actual path, it checked for the open time, it collected the student ID, what option they hit, and you'll know where they went. And it says they ended up in student success. So you're able to see how the student was routed when they came in. Any questions about that?
No, ma'am.
Okay, awesome. So that's just one set of the reports. And again, here's the skill performance report. You want to look at the performance. And you're able to run this depending on today, yesterday, previous, and choose specific date range. But that's just one example. There's a whole host of reports there. So outbound skills, outbound campaigns. So Pat kind of covered what we offer, what we call personal connection, and basically it places phone calls. You can configure different dialing modes. You can do agentless contacts. It provides a seamless interaction between the agent and the contact, delivering a call to the agent on connection so that the agent can respond immediately, meaning when it's patented that there is not what we call a pause in between when it's connected to, if you were dialing out to the student and you had an agent on the other end. Also, you can do the delivery of text messages, emails to contacts without an agent being necessary at all. So you do have that ability. This is more of the outbound skills control, just showing you if you set up a campaign and what has happened, the talk time, any minute percentage, how many calls are queued, active. So this is just one inventory list of what it could look like overall. Also, you have what we call, I pulled up an outbound skill. Let me pull that back up. You have what we look at as what we call the skill, and looking at the skill overall as far as the dialing mode, how it's going out, some of the scaling and the availability of that actual skill itself. Give me 1 second. I already pulled that up. Looking at some of the parameters of how you want to deliver the call, the calling list itself, uploading it, some of the campaigns, and as you say, recording some of the content of what you want to be sent out. And my apologies, kind of moving a little slow. Any questions about anything? Okay. Any questions about the outbound calling and what it can do? Pat kind of covered it more in the summary, but I just want to make sure that we show you that it's available within this the core ACD platform, and this is where it's set up, and some of the configuration and the parameters and the delivery preferences and the calling list and those types of things.
Is this their own, or is this like something that they would go through Mastergy for?
So one of the things I'll tell you with regards to our outbound calling system, you can do manual uploads of lists, or you can have what we call Proactive XS, which is a system that we've developed with Microsoft that we pull in to your database, pull out that information, and load those lists automatically without you having to do it. So both those options are available.
Now, this is through y'all's call center or phone center. Right now, I asked because we have Mastergy, and I was either looking for something that would integrate with that, or possibly if it's your own, look into another. But I was just curious, this is your own?
Yeah, this is our own platform, and yeah, it's just part of the core offering that we provide.
Okay.
It is a module, so if you don't want personal connection, we don't add it. If you do want to use personal connection, we add it.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Any other questions about personal connection or anything that you've seen within the core platform? Dashboards, monitoring.
Yeah, so basically you have one thing that's offered, and then you have a price on it, and then whatever you add to it and build is what you're paying for.
That's right.
So you make it your own. Okay.
Just to kind of give you an idea, the core platform that Tracy has showed you today would include, the dashboards, all the reporting, the Max agent. It would include voice routing, ACD, skills-based. So that's all part of the standard offering. And then to give you an idea of what you could add on top of that base platform would be the additional channels like web chat, email, social media, workforce optimization, which we're about to show you next, and workforce management. So those are some things that you may not require up front, but you may want to see, and you could add them down the road as you grow and decide you need more capability.
And then how do we know how much each one is? Are we just you gonna have a sheet that has all the prices?
Yeah, I'm gonna once we've gone through and shown you everything, and you kind of decide what it is that you feel is helpful, what things you want to wait on. I'll work with you to configure a solution based around your specific requirements, and we'll build that, and then I'll show you, here's what the core costs, here's what the options cost.
Okay, and then question, it's a question within the price question. So basically we have 13 campuses as well as an adult education center for Work Ready U, where students get their GED high sets. Is that something that you can get one license and have 13 or 14 different instances? Or you only have, understand what I'm saying? So you'd have one
multi-tenancy.
Right, one dashboard
Yeah.
for each school, preferably?
Yeah. So what Tracy's showing you here is all permissions based. So you could have what we call one business unit.
Okay.
So we could bill, for 13 plus the Work Ready U program, all in the same business unit. We could centralize it, send it to one location for billing. But as far as setting it up, you could have, campus number one with their agents and their specific instance where they only see what they see. Work Ready U sees something completely different.
Okay.
Maybe at the central administration, you see everybody. So
And you can
how you want it
separate
set
the
up.
emails, phone calls, text messages by each instance.
Yes.
Yes, you can.
Perfect. Okay, that's
Everything you see here is customized depending on the user. So if Campus A you want them to see Campus A, they would only see the skills for that, the chats for that type of thing, and then they can customize it and make it Campus A. But you, as the administrator, can build all of them and see them all, and then just send a drop down or put them in one window. It's all depending on how you want to do it.
okay. Yeah, because we just want access. Because as of now, we all answer or emails or phone calls or text messages for multiple colleges. Eventually, it'll be like one inbound center, but right now we touch all of the campuses. But I just wanted to make sure we could separate them.
Right.
Okay.
Yep.
Okay. All right. I was making sure we weren't going to have to buy 13 or 14 different things. Okay.
No,
Okay.
no, definitely. In fact, just to give you an example, I have the state of Oklahoma with 20 different state agencies all working through us with a single bill. So that
Okay.
gives you an idea of what, the power that you can do.
Awesome. Thank you.
Yes, ma'am.
And so just to give you an idea about what you can see as far as skills that are assigned, audit history, I want to go to the security profile and how it's set up within there. One. So depending on what profile that is assigned to the user, depends on what they can see as far as password. You can set up the strength of the password and permissions. This is where you're saying what they can see, whether they can view, edit, create, deactivate, those type of things. So you can get as granular as you need to be based on the role and the permissions that you're setting for the role, and then the rest of our modules. Just to give you an idea.
Okay.
Awesome. Any other questions about the core platform?
With the text, is the text live text?
That's a good, yeah.
The SMS texting?
Yes.
Yeah, that's live texting. So, I as a student could text from my cell phone into a number that's associated with the contact center, and then we would take that text and route it just like we would a phone call or a web chat.
And what is the same thing that Leslie asked earlier about after hours? We could set up something that they would receive a text that says, someone will be right with them, or how does that go for text?
Yeah, so if you only wanted to respond to text during the business day, you'd probably have an automated response that says, we only respond to text messages during business hours, Monday through Friday, 8 a.m. to 5 p.m. or whatever that might be.
Mm-hmm.
So that's probably how I would recommend doing that.
Okay, and then, so would they have to stop and then re-text us the next day at that time, or is it like the voicemails that it'll be routed to us the next day?
Well, we could set it up to your preference. If you did want to still hold those in queue, then we would hold those in queue and then deliver them to the first available agent during the next business day.
Okay. Are you going to show us how a text message looks on the computer?
I just sent one through.
Perfect.
So if you notice, I sent in a text message. To the right here shows where I sent the text and the number it came from.
Mm-hmm.
So I was sending a message back. Oh, Tracy. This is going to my cell phone. And then from there, back and forth. But this is where you see the message come in. If you want to put the message on hold, meaning I'm still talking, you can do quick replies, right? Because you can do phone calls if needed at the same time, or you can just do one at a time. If I wanted to launch and make a call, then I can, or move it to a voice, meaning I want to call them versus continuing a message. I want to go ahead and make this a phone call. Then I can do that.
Now, whenever they text into our system, whether or not they're in our system, like our database or not, by texting in, will that automatically put them into our system, their phone number?
It'll load it, so the next time it'll recognize it.
Okay, so whenever you do the chat feature, does it ask for your name or email?
It depends on how you set it up. Again, that's depending on how you set that feature up. So you can set it up to say, kind of like I did the email, like it says, it asks for the name, and then it even asks, do you want a picture of the agent? I mean, there was pre-prompt things for the student to put in, and then for the quick replies to come back, or you can prompt those questions up for the student to answer coming up. So again, you can have quick replies here that comes back and say, thank you, and then put the name in, so they'll know once it sees it, it'll say Tracy or Pat, that type of thing. So, yeah.
Well, where are all the contacts stored for that? For instance, like right now we go through Banner and we pull out what we call a Cognos report that's got multiple, student name, email addresses, and so forth. Where is all of that stored? So, can that address list be separated by the college? Or is it all just one big database with all phone numbers in?
Pat, aren't we doing a depth? So we're doing an interface to their system, so it wouldn't be where we're storing it. We're doing like a data depth to get that data from your interfaces that you provided for us to get that data. So if it's not there, your CRM or whatever it may be, then it'll log that data, and next time it comes in, the system will see it, dip into that, and then populate what's needed.
That's right. So what Tracy's getting at is, as a cloud-based contact center, what we're not doing is replacing your database or your CRM system. You're going to continue to use that. That's going to have all your student profile information, any notes that you want to, retain about the calls, the contacts. That's going to all stay within your system. What we're doing is doing the ACD routing, the IVR prompting, the database pulls so that we can read back the information, the screen pops so that you can access and see the information at your fingertips. But what we're not doing is holding that personal information, that contact detail. That's in your database, which we integrate to.
Okay, so we have to do a data integration essentially. Like we couldn't just start and y'all would store the information without sending it to us, correct?
Yeah, we're not going to store contact details. Now you could store notes and things like that, but our system is not designed to be a database,
right,
where you're holding all that personal student information. You really want to have an integration to the database of your choice, and that's what we do extremely well.
Right, and we have actually a couple of instances. So we have Banner, which is our student services platform, and we also have our Recruiter / Microsoft CRM. So could you integrate with both of them? For instance,
we could.
Okay.
We could, yeah, using open APIs. For example, I think I shared this with Melissa. One of my customers is Indiana Wesleyan University, and they use Microsoft Dynamics. So we've integrated with that database so that they can screen pop the Microsoft Dynamics database on incoming calls. When students or prospective students hit their website, we can actually take the information on who's hit their website through their Microsoft Dynamics database, send it over to an outbound counselor who can reach out to that customer or that student on a proactive basis for recruiting needs. So it's really cool what we can do. But whether it be Microsoft Dynamics or Banner or Salesforce, Zendesk, as long as the database that you work with uses open APIs through web services, it's typically very easy for us to integrate.
Okay.
Back to you, Ms. Tracy. We've got about 25 minutes left. Tracy, do you want to, do you have the workforce optimization stuff already up and running? Ms. Tracy.
I'm talking on mute.
I think you were.
I went to mute because I was coughing, sorry. What I can do, I have the workforce up. I'll do a high-level overview of it so that you can have an idea of what we have to offer as far as workforce management. And then if you want to do something more deeper dive, then I'm more than happy to do it because it normally takes 1 hour just to do workforce management demo. So what you're seeing here is what we call our NICE IEX workforce management system. What it does is schedule your agents at the right time in the right place. We collect the data from the ACD. So the ACD that I just introduced you to, that data is mapped over what we call the skills, and it's Qs in here, but it's skill to Q mapping where we get the call statistics and we forecast ahead to tell you what type of volume you're possibly going to receive. It looks at trends over time from when the students call in, looking at that history. With chat, with email, we can do it all and make sure that you have right enough staffing to take that amount of call volume that's anticipated to come in from day to day. So, but just to give you an idea, this is what a schedule looks like as far as scheduling, who's taking those inbound calls, showing the open time. You got break, you got a coffee cup, forks and knives for lunch, activity codes that can be mapped to say, certain things, whether they're on vacation, they're out sick, they're in training, doing coaching or meeting, those types of items. Setting up the schedules, whether they're working. We have examples here where they're working a split shift, come in the morning, get a break during the day, and come back in the afternoon, or just really working part-time, which I think my schedule should have been part-time, but don't look like it is. Whether you're working part-time, where you're doing 4 hours a day. So you do have that flexibility within the schedules to set that up. And then if someone that's a scheduling person, going in and seeing where they're over and under as far as net staffing for the day. Right now, this is showing all the contact types, meaning whether it's phone, chat, or email. But if I wanted to look at, hey, what is my coverage for email, by changing that means most of everybody's in there. And if I want to see where the activity is going in and looking at that. So now I've changed it to chat. Notice how the red went away. You have enough coverage for chat. Any questions about what you're seeing here?
Not about that, but something that you mentioned, as far as emails, I'm not really sure. Can we make the emails our own?
I'm sorry, say that again. Make your emails your own.
Right. For instance, like put in a banner for each college, put in hyperlinks and so forth.
So that would be the outbound personal connection thing, I guess, if we create emails.
Oh, absolutely. So you create the email campaign you want around the type of content you want and however you want that to look, you bet.
So you can put in graphics.
Oh, sure.
And
yeah.
As far as hyperlinks, if we put links in there, is that there's analytics offered in that? So if like they click the link, you can see how many students received it, how many opened it, how many clicked on the hyperlink, and so forth.
That I would personally need to check on. Do you happen to know, Tracy, if we keep those?
I don't know.
Hello?
Can you hear me now?
There's a big thing of lightning, but I mean, we're still connected.
Well, okay, is it moving?
Yes, indeed.
Let's see. Is that your time or her time on the bottom?
Very bottom.
Her, mine.
Oh, okay.
Two.
You can see it change.
Yeah.
Yes, no?
Oh, there you are.
We hear you now.
Oh, can you hear me?
Yes. Can you hear me now? We
I
had
can.
we had some thunder and then lost both of you. So
Oh my.
I think we're out in the boondocks with disconnect.
I know, right? All right. So what were you saying about the emails? I apologize.
Yeah, so as far as the emails, yes, absolutely. You can customize them to your liking. As far as the reporting and the statistics around that, like how many people clicked on the hyperlink, Tracy and I need to do a little homework on that to find out. I know Indiana Wesleyan did some of that, but I believe that their Microsoft Dynamics was doing that reporting for them. So let me just make some phone calls and ask around and see the best way of handling that.
Okay, that'd be great.
Do y'all have any provided email templates or template editor, or is that totally up to us to do?
I'd have to check on that as well. I'm not, Tracy, do you happen to know if we provide those templates?
I'm not 100% sure if we provide it. I think it's more of what you as a customer want.
Okay.
And we can help you with that if you need some help in customizing it.
And if we do go with your product, the customer service or setting things up, that all comes with the package.
Yeah. So if you select InContact, the first thing we do is we assign an implementation manager who works within our internal resources to build a project team. We hold meetings to gather all the details, the information about your requirements. We make sure that we completely understand your goals and where you want to take the operation and what tools you want to utilize to meet those goals. So even though it's a cloud-based solution and there's no equipment on site, we still treat the project like we were implementing any other on-site project.
Okay.
You get all those full professional service implementations. We'll come to you and train if you want to have, in-person training. We'll make sure that, everything is tested prior to going live and that it works to your satisfaction.
All right.
What about social media integration?
Central media?
Social media.
You had mentioned it, but any more details on that? Social media?
Oh, social media integration. I'm sorry, I turned on the fan in my office and having trouble hearing here. So we do have a social media integration. That's one of the newer modules that we have, and so the first two modules that we've added with social media are Facebook and Twitter. And what we do is we basically work with you to understand what it is that you want us to listen to or to capture and route for handling. So we as an example for Facebook, if I as a prospective student, bashed your college for one reason or another, and you wanted to know about that and respond to it in a professional way, then we would take those mentions that you've designed or told us that are of value, and we would route them just like we would any other communication to a skill that can handle the response. And, by using similar as what you saw with the text or the web chat, a tool that the agent could input and then post that information back to the social media website, whether it be Facebook or Twitter. Now, I constantly hear our new customers that want to know if we're doing Snapchat or Instagram or some of the newer social medias. We will be adding those additional channels. They're not prime time just yet.
Do you have any clients currently using the Facebook integration?
We do, yes.
And has anybody used it for Facebook Messenger? Do you know? Just, you can contact a company page on Facebook, and I'm just wondering if that could be like integrated into the chat feature, kind of.
Yeah, I'm not certain. I'd have to ask about that.
Okay.
So basically,
Yeah, good question.
our Facebook, each one of the colleges have their own Facebook page, but we do have one for LCTCS as well. Mark, what is the adult ed through LCTCS or their own Work Ready U page?
I think
Okay, so we can incorporate our pages into this, is what you're saying, correct? And then assign
Correct.
who gets the message.
Yeah, and it's just like you do the other communication channels. You skill the agents based on what different channels you want them to be able to handle.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Any other questions?
Oh, okay. I think, Brandon, anybody have any other? So we just basically need to find a CRM. Correct?
Yeah, if you feel like what you have is sufficient, then we can work with your existing providers to, see if we can connect and present you with the information that you need. But if you're looking, I think what I remember, Melissa, is that you were looking for something a little more comprehensive that could...
Right, something that's a single, so because, for instance, our supervisor goes in on a weekly basis and pulls all the analytics from everything we're doing, and right now she has to pull from 4 or 5 different places. She would like to be able to go into one and see everything.
Yeah. Yeah, so, the ones I mentioned in the presentation, like Salesforce and Zendesk.
You said Salesforce?
Salesforce, yeah. And that's, it can be misleading because you think of companies that have salespeople, and that's not at all what Salesforce is. I mean, it may have originally been designed around that, but we have all kinds of government agencies using Salesforce now, and colleges and universities around the country using it. And what's nice about the Salesforce integration within Contact, as with a few of the other CRMs, is not only do we integrate to it, we can actually embed our tools within the platform. So when you go to log on, you're logging into Salesforce, and the InContact tools are right there.
Is that the only one that offers that, Salesforce, or is...
Salesforce, Zendesk, and Oracle all offer that, but I would say Salesforce, from what I've seen, is the most complete integration.
Perfect.
Yep. Salesforce is cloud-based,